Hi guys, welcome to Decode's YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll be seeing about the latest coding question that was asked in ZOHO's Level 2 interview round for software developer that happened on August 1st, 2024. So let's get into this video. Before that, I'd like to show you my programming channel, which is Decodes. So I've been uploading interview experiences of various companies consistently, and also I've already uploaded one ZOHO question that was already asked last week. Okay, and I've also been uploading Java shorts, which has MCQs that you might make mistakes in during the MCQ interview rounds of various companies. And I also have this playlist where I upload a Java course. Okay, so it'll be really useful for you. I do this all for you guys benefit, so please do give me a subscription, like, and comment, and do share my content with your friends who are also preparing for interviews, for Java interviews, for MCQ rounds or coding. It will be really useful for them too. Okay, now let's get into our video. So this is the question that was asked. I'll explain you the question first of all. So we have to sort an array. Okay, the input is an array. So we have to sort it based on the frequency of elements in descending order. Okay. So what if two elements have the same frequency? Then we have to print the element which came first. Okay, I'll explain this. So this is the input array, for example. So we have to sort this one based on the frequency in decreasing order. So let's just take the first part. Okay, so the most occurred element is 8, which has occurred 3 times. So that is the only element which has occurred 3 times, which is the most. So we will print it first. So we have to print it in decreasing order. So most to least. So we print 8, 8, 8 first. Okay. Following that, we have 2, which occurs twice, and 5, which occurs twice. So both of these occurs twice. So which one would you print first, 2 or 5? So they've given that if two elements have the same frequency, then we have to print the element which came first. Between 2 and 5, so if you compare these two, 2 has occurred first. So you print 2 first, followed by you print 5. I hope that was understandable. And then you have 6 minus 1 and this 9999 thing. So each of these occur once. So in which order would you print? 6 has occurred first. So you print 6. Between minus 1 and this 999 thing, minus 1 has occurred first, you print minus 1. The remaining is this one. So you print that one too. This is a question that was asked. So we'll see how to solve it. So first of all, I'll explain you the algorithm. I'll give the code and I'll give you the dry run also. So you don't have to worry. Okay, you'll clearly understand. Okay, so the algorithm that we're going to follow for this question is we'll be using hashing, hash map, and sorting. Okay. So since we are going to use sorting, okay, so we'll have the input array in the main function. What we are going to do is, let's start with main function. Inside public static void main, you would use the scanner class to get the input of this array, and you pass this array to the function which we'll write separately. That function is going to handle this sorting based on frequency. So you'll pass this array as the input. But inside, we need a list so that we can perform the collections dot sort on this particular list. Okay, we cannot perform collections dot sort on an integer array or a normal primitive type array. We need it as a list because list is a part of collection framework. We all know it. So we need it as a list. So in order to convert an array into a list, we need to first convert this array into an integer array. Integer is a wrapper class, okay, which has objects. So this array has the array of integer objects only. So only integer array objects can be converted into a list using the asList function. That's why we are doing this step first of all. So in ZOHO interview and all, you have to write the code from scratch. From the beginning, they won't give you any hacker rank or any coding platforms to code it up. So that's why you need to start from the scratch. You only have public static void main. So you need to convert it as per your needs. So that's what we're going to do first of all. After we have this list, we will perform two things. First, we will do hashing and then sorting. Okay. Hash map. Okay, we'll take two hash map. So one hash map will store the elements frequency. This hash map will store elements in key value pairs, right? So it will store it in keys and values. The key is going to be the element and the value is going to be its frequency. What is frequency? Frequency is count of that particular element. So one hash map will store that elements frequency. and the other hash map will store the element and its first occurrence index. The key is going to be the element and the value is going to be the first occurrence index. Okay, I'll tell you why we take the first occurrence index. Followed by that, after we have stored it in the hash map, we are going to use this hash map, because in order to sort by frequency, we need the frequency that we have stored in the hash map. Okay, using this hash map, we will sort the elements in descending order based on frequency. Here you will use a comparator. I will explain everything. I will explain the comparator. I will explain how to populate the hash map, everything. Okay, so if they don't have same frequency, we will sort it in descending order using a comparator. But if they have the same frequency, we have to sort it using the index. If they have the same frequency, we have to sort it using the index, because as the question states, we have to print the element which came first. In order to know which element came first, we need its index. Only through the index we can say which came first. That's why we are going to sort it using the index. That's why we are going to take in the second hash map the first occurrence index, because it will tell the particular element at which place it has first occurred. With the help of that, we will sort it based on index if they have the same frequency. This is the logic behind it. Now let's go and see how the hash map is populated. Okay, this is our hash map. So we are taking two hash maps. One is map count and another is map index. As I already said before, this map count will store the element and its frequency. This map index will store the element and first occurring index. If you see, the first element is 2. 2 has occurred twice. So the frequency is stored here. And then the 5. So 5 has occurred twice. So 2 is stored here. 6 has occurred once. So you store the frequency as 1. -1 has occurred once, so you store it as 1, and it has occurred thrice. So I hope you understand this. This is just the element and its frequency, and the element and its first occurrence index is stored in the map index. Okay, the element 2 has occurred in the 0th index, so you take 0. But the element 2 has also occurred in the second index. You don't take that. You only need the first occurrence index. I explained you why. Because the first occurrence index is very useful to sort the elements if the frequency is same. We will need the index if we are going to sort it. Okay, if the frequency are same. I hope that was understandable. Similarly, the first occurrence index of all of these elements are taken. Now let's see how this gets populated. That is very important. Understanding this algorithm, so you will understand this and we will write the code for that. Okay, I'll open editable form. Okay. Okay, so we have this one right here. Right. So first element is 2. So I'll iterate through this array using a for loop. The first element is 2. We will see if this element is already present in the map count or not. No, it is not already present. If it is not already present, you put that element inside the map count and then set the frequency as 1. Okay, that is the code. You put this 2 and set the frequency as 1. Since it is occurring for the first time, right? So you also populate the map index. The element is 2 and the index is actually 0. This is how you do it. Now let's go to the second element, which is 5. So is 5 already present in this map count? No. So you put it inside the map count hash map and set the frequency to 1 because it has occurred only once at this point. So since it is occurring for the first time, I'm going to populate the map index also 5 and the index is 1. I hope it is understandable for you. This is how you populate it. Now let's go to the third element, which is 2. First, you have to check, okay, if is 2 already present? Yes, 2 is already present. So you just increment this count to 2 because it has occurred 2 times at this point. That's it. You don't populate the map index since it is already populated. Let's move on to the next element, which is 6. Let's take 6. Is 6 already present? No, it is not already present. So you put the 6 inside the map count and set the frequency as 1 because it is occurring for the first time at this point. And then the map index, since it is occurring for the first time, you store 6 and the particular index in which it has occurred 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is 3. Okay, nice. And then let's go to next element, which is -1. Is -1 already present? No, it is not present. So you put -1 inside and then set the frequency as 1. So it is occurring for the first time. So you populate it inside the map index also, -1, and its frequency, not, and its index is what it is, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. And then you have this 9 thing. Is it already present in the map count? No, it is not already present. So you populate that. And then the frequency, you set the frequency as 1. So map index, since it is occurring for the first time, you put the 9999 here. And also, what is its index? It's 5. Okay. Now let's move on to the next element, which is 5. I'm going to check is 5 already present? Yes, it is already present. Yes, it is already present. So you just increment its count frequency to 2. Okay. And then so we've already put the first occurrence index. So let's move on to the next element, which is 8. So is 8 already present? No, it is not present. No, it is not present. So you put the 8 and you set the count as 1. Simple, right? And then 8 is occurring for the first time here. So inside the map index, you populate it. And then what is the first occurring index? It is 6. Is it 6 though? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then you go to the next 8. This 8 will check if it is already present. Yes, it is already present. You increment the count to 2 and you go to the last element 8. Is it already present in the map count? Yes, it is already present in the map count. So you increment the count to 3. And the for loop gets over. You've populated both of this hash map. Very simple, right? This is how you populate it. So exactly how you populated it, that is exactly how you write the code inside. Okay, just remember this algorithm for now. Okay, now let's just start coding it up because you've learned how to populate it. Immediately we'll code it up. Okay, so far we have seen like converting it into a list and then populating the hash map. Now let's do it in the code. For that I would need hash map. Sorry, VS Code. I'll just open my VS Code. Okay, this is already present here. Okay, so I'll just let it be here. I'll just create a new thing, or I'll just even delete this one up and create a new thing for you guys. I'm just going to create a new file that is sort by frequency dot java. Nice, nice, nice. We've got it. Okay, so okay, so I've created the file over here. I'll write the main function. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is first let's just import java.total.package. Otherwise, it will show error that we have not imported the necessary things. Okay, fine. I've imported everything that's needed. Okay, first what I told, get the array input. So you do scanner class. Okay, nice. You've taken the scanner. So in order to take the array input, you need size, right? So int size is equal to sc dot next int. Let me code it up real fast. And then I declare an array arr which is equal to new int of size. Okay, nice. Now I have to get this as an input. Sorry for the typo, you guys. Okay, so now I'll get the input, which is of I, which is equal to sc dot next int. Okay, nice. Now I'll write a function. Okay, so outside this main function, I'll write a function which is public, which is going to be a static function. because if you are going to call it from the main function, it has to be a static one, right? Public static, it is not going to return anything. Void, the name is going to be sort by frequency. So that is going to take an integer array and the size. So this is going to be my function. Okay, I'm going to write the code inside this. So I'll have to call this inside the main function, right? That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort array by frequency. I'm going to call this and pass the array and size. Okay, so first step is we have to convert. We have to first have this integer array into a like primitive int array into integer class array, wrapper class array. I'm going to do that first of all. Integer int arr equal to new integer of size. Okay, so I have this. I'll have to copy everything from this primitive data type arr to integer class int arr. I'm going to run a for loop for that. Okay, so int arr of I is equal to arr of I. Hope that's understandable. Okay, now I'm going to convert this into a list. So for that, what I'll need is I need a list. List, it is going to have integer. I'm going to name it as a list, which is equal to arrays.asList. I'm going to use the arrays.asList function and I'm going to pass this int arr. Now we have got the list. Okay. Okay, so I hope this was understandable. I have just inputted the array and called this function. So inside this function, as I said before, I need an integer class array. I have to copy everything from this input array to the integer class array. So I'm copying it and then I'll pass this integer class array inside this asList function to convert it into a function, like into a list, because I need a list to do the collections.sort. We can't do collections.sort on a primitive data type array or anything. So this is the procedure I'm following. Okay. Now the next thing is we have to initialize two hash maps and we have to populate it. That's what we have seen so far. Let's code it up. So let's take one hash map. So hash map that is going to have two integers. I'm going to name it as map count, which is equal to new hash map of, which is also an integer in turn. This is one hash map for me. And then I'll have like another hash map, same syntax, just the name is going to be different. That is going to be map index. Amazing, right? Okay. Okay, fine. Now I have to populate these hash maps so that I can perform the sorting. So let's iterate through this input, like this int array. I will iterate through this int array. So for int I equal to 0, I less than size, I plus plus. Okay. Okay, nice. So, now we iterate through this array. So first, what I told you guys was first, we have to check what we have to check. If we take two, we have to check if it is already present in this. So we have two conditions. We have to check if it is already present in the map count, and we have to check if it is already not present in the map count. What do we do if it is already present in the map count? We just increment the count. That's it. Okay, let's code it up. Let's code it up. So for that, I'm going to use if. So inside the if condition, the first condition is if the map count already has this element. Okay, if the map count, just like English, if the map count already has this element. So element is the key. So we use the contains key function. If it is already contains that particular key. So what key? I'm iterating through this array, So what key? Int arr of I. Okay. If it already has that, what do I need to do? So contains key int arr of I will give the first element or the particular index element. If it is, so if the map count already contains the key, what I need to do, I just have to increment the count. Okay, which means map count dot. So I'll have to use the put function here. This put function will put or will put particular index. Okay, I'll explain you. So int ARR of I, which means that particular element inside the map count, comma. So for this we need to access. So if 2 is already present, let's say there is another 2 in the last. So if 2 is already present, I'm going to put 3 in this 2. So inside this key, I'm going to put int ARR of I to access it. And I have to access this. How I will access this in order to increment it. The code is very simple. What I will do is I'll take another map count. That is, I'll take the hash map again. Dot, I will get this time because I need that count, right? Dot get what I need, int ARR. That element's count. So I'm just putting that particular key. Int ARR of I is actually the particular key here. This is the key. So I need to get that key. Okay, I've gotten that key now. The count is 2. Now I need to increment it by 1. What I will do, I'll just simply put +1. Very simple, right? So put and get will have key and value. In order to access the key, I'll use the index operator. Okay, index operator. And then we need the value over here. So using the get method. Okay, get method. I hope this was understandable for you. Okay, what if it is not present? I'll write it inside else, right? What if it is not present? What I did, I put that element inside the map count, set the count to 1, and I populate it inside the map index and set the index as that particular I, right? That is what I did. So else, if it is not already present, I'll just do two things. I'll take my map count hash map and I will put the particular element which is present inside this int array, and I'll set this is the key, and I set the value to 1, and I will take the map index hash map and I will put the particular element I have traversed with this index. The index is simply I. Very, very simple. Okay, this might be a bit confusing for you. Just remember, this is key and this is value. Okay, if it is already present, I'll have to increment this key. Okay, so how do you get the key? The element is the particular key, which is present in the integer array. So it is int ARR of index operator I, that particular index. And we need to get that count in order to increment it. That's why I'm using the get. So get this key. So this will be like, if the count is already 2, this will be like 2. So 2 plus 1, this will be like 3. After this, this will be like 3. Okay, so if it is if it is 2, 2 comma 3. So if it is element 2, increment it to 3. That's it. Okay. So you, after understanding this, you have to take down your notebook and try run it separately so that you can understand it easily. Okay, so this is the condition. If it is already present, if it is not already present. So we have done this. So we have populated our hash map successfully, guys. So and then we have to perform the hashing. Okay, so let's perform the hashing. I mean sorting. I'm so sorry, sorting. Okay, first of all, we already have our frequency in particular hash map and index in another hash map. So based on this, we have to sort our list. Okay, for that, I'm going to use collections.sort. This is the syntax I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using collections.sort. This is going to get the list as the argument, which is going to be sorted. So actually tim sort is performed in this sorting function, and it will also take a comparator object. Okay, comparator is actually an interface. This comparator will have the compare function which we have to override it. Okay, this is the syntax. Okay, we have to override this compare function. So we have to write conditions such that it returns -1, 0 or +1. Okay, if it returns -1, the elements are ordered in that way, in a certain way. If it returns 0, in certain way. If it returns 1, and then in another way. I'll explain you clearly. Okay. So let's populate this with our list. Okay. Let's say it has 2, 5, 2, 2. It will take two elements. Okay, two elements, O1 and O2. It will take two elements, and Based on the conditions, it is ordered. Okay. If this particular condition returns -1, then first element comes before the second element. So I already told it takes two elements. So let's take the first element is n1, second element is n2. Okay. So if I've written a condition such that it returns -1, then first element comes before second element, which means that first element is less than second element. If it returns +1, first element comes after the second element, which means first element is greater than the second element. Okay, if it returns 0, my condition, then the order remains same. N1 and N2 remains same. Okay, I hope that is understandable. I'll explain you again. Let's say we have N1 and N2. I've returned some conditions. So N1 and N2, from the list, it takes two elements. The first two elements are N1 and N2. I have to put the condition in such a way that if it returns -1, N1, it is ordered like N1, N2. Okay. First element comes before second element. If it returns 0, then the order is maintained. N1, N2, the order is maintained as the original. If it returns 1, then we have to write it as N2, N1. Okay, we have to change the ordering. I hope that was understandable, but I'll show you in code and dry running in which you can easily understand. Okay, I'm going to perform the sorting after hashing. So collections.sort, I'm going to pass the list and I'm going to have a new comparator object. So this is this syntax, guys. Okay, integer. So comparator, it returns, so it takes an integer object and okay, so inside this we have to override. So if you just write it like this, it will show like implement the abstract method compare. So we are going to compare overwrite it. Okay, so public int. So this is going to be public and it's going to return integer. So not int, it is going to return an integer object. So integer, everything is object. Okay, compare integer n1 and integer n2. So as I already said before, it takes two elements and compares it. Okay, so this is actually return type is int only. Okay, so first we need, okay, first we need frequencies, right? So we need to sort it based on the frequency. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take two variables called as int frequency1, which is going to give me the frequency of n1. So how do I get that? The frequency is populated in map count. So map count dot get, I'm going to put that key. Key is the particular element and the value is the frequency. So we'll get the frequency in freq1. Similar for freq2. Map count dot get n2. Okay, this is the key. So if I want a particular value, I have to put the key inside the get. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do here exactly is that I'm going to write the if else function such that it has to be ordered properly. So first condition is that if the frequency is not same, not equal to frequency 2. Okay, then I have to write something. I have to return something such that then I'll have to return something such that it is properly ordered. Okay, I'll give you the example. Okay, so I'll take this. I'll just take this. So this is our input. Okay, so and then we have okay, so we have these two things. Just look at this and you will be able to understand it, what you should write exactly over here. Okay, so first I already told it will take two elements. So first is 2, second is 5. This is how you should write the logic for it. Very important logic. This determines the order. Okay. So first it takes 2 and 5. Okay. N1 is 2, N2 is 5. And the frequency. Freq 1 is 2 and freq 2 is also 2. So we have the like we have something like same frequency. So inside else part you have to write something such that this will return something. Okay. So we have 2 and 5, they have the same frequency. So I'm going to write two conditions. Inside the if the frequency is not same, inside the else if the frequency is same. We have to return something. So I already said before, if the frequency is same, we have to sort it based on index. So you move on to the index. So let's access these two index. Okay. How would you access these two index? Map index dot get that particular n1. Okay. Okay. So you will get this by map index dot get the particular n1 and then map index dot get the particular n2. Okay, so now let's try to subtract these two. So I have to, so it is already present as 2, 1, 5. The first element is 2, second element is 5. 2 has occurred first, 5 has occurred second. So the condition is first element should come before the second element. So 2 should come before 5 in the output. For that it should return -1. So 0 minus 1 is -1. So you just write map index dot get of n1 which is 2, map index dot get of n2 which is like okay which is 5. So if you minus both of these things you will get the answer correctly. Okay, wow. So what I'm trying to say is I have to return something. So in the inside the else part the frequency is not same. So I have to move to the index. I'm going to see the index of these two elements which is 0 and 1. I have to return something here such that 2 and 5, 2 has occurred first. So 2 should be first in the output also. So I have to return what? -1. Which operation will give me -1? Map index dot get n1, which means this index 0. Map index dot get n2, which means 1. 0 minus 1 is -1. This will return -1 and 2 will come before 5. First element will come before the second element in this one. Okay. Now let's take the next element, which is 5 and 2. Right, so the first element is 5 and the second element is 2. Frequency of the first element is 2 and 2. So the frequency of both the elements are same. Now we're going to move to the index. Let's take 5. Map index dots. Okay, so 5 the frequency is 1, 2 the index is 0. I'm sorry, 5 the index is 1, 2 the index is 0. So which should come first? Which has come first? 2 has come first. So in the output you should print 2. But here it is present like this. So we have to change this order. So what you need to do is that you have to perform map index dot get n1 minus map index dot get n2. Therefore 1 minus 0 it will return 1. So second element will come before the first element. Okay. Now let's move on to 2, 6. If we take 2, 6, I'll change it up over here. Okay, frequency of 2 is 2, frequency of 6 is 1. Okay, now seeing this, the frequency is not same, right? The frequency is not same. So the most occurred is actually 2. So 2 should come before 6 in the output. So in the output, 2 should come first and 6 should come next. So in the input also that is the same order maintained. So you need to maintain this. First element should come before the second element. So what you need to do is you need to return -1 here. I need to return -1 here. So for that you need to write the code. You can't hard code it like this. How would you write? Frequency, you only have frequency. It is frequency 1 minus frequency 2 or frequency 2 minus frequency 1. You will get -1. Frequency 2 minus frequency 1. Because this frequency 2 minus frequency 1 will give you -1 such that it is ordered as 2 and 6. I hope that was understandable. So in the same way, this is actually done for all of these elements and this is the sorting is actually done. So you will understand this if you dry run it up. So if you want this in ascending order, you just change it up. Frequency 1 minus frequency 2, and then you also change this one up. Okay, if they're asking ascending order means you just put frequency 1 minus frequency 2. You will get it in ascending order. If they're asking if two frequency have the same, if two elements have the same frequency, then you need to print the element which came last. Then you just interchange this one up, or you need to again sort it based on value. Means you can put a separate sorting algorithm over here. This is like the basic for all of these problems. Finally, you just print the list. That's it. You'll get the output. I hope I was not confusing this one. If you felt like I have confused this, please do comment, because then only I can explain it to you in an easy manner. Okay, the future problems and all. Now let's try to run this up. I hope there's no error. So, okay, there is no error. So I'll just pass the same thing as the input. Okay, I'm getting some exception over here. Okay, what exception am I getting here actually? Okay, I'll just like, it is 10 and then 2, 5, 2. There should not be comma, sorry. 6 minus 1, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. 2, 5, 2, 6, 9, and then 5, 8, 8, 8. Okay, can you see it is ordered properly as per our input? So 8 has occurred the most amount of times. So 8 comes first. 2 and 5, 2 has occurred first. So 2 will come after 5, before 5. Then you have 6 minus 1, 9, 9, 9. This is what this question is all about. This was asked in the last week's software developer round. So just practice this. This is also present in lead code. Okay, so in Zoho, they mostly ask from lead code medium, lead code easy. So just practice all of those problems. I'll come up with everything that you need to have to be prepared. My channel focuses on the programming part. So I'll put up as many videos as possible. If this video was really understandable, please mention in the comment. If not, also please mention in the comment. If I have confused something, please do tell me. Only then I'll be able to rectify it. So I'll meet you all again in another video. So don't forget to give me a subscription, because that motivates me, and like my content, comment and share it with your friends also. See you in another video. Thank you so much. Bye.